Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Soul Seekers podcast, where we believe that hunting has the power to transform lives through primal adventure as we share our mission of mentorship is conservation. To learn more about everything we do, check out our show on Carbon TV or go to soulseekersnation.com. Freedom on, everybody, and stay soulful. If you want to take your shooting experience to the next level, then check out Coltac gear for 100% made in America products. Coltac manufactures specialty gear designed for long-range shooting, hunting, and other tactical applications. From their support bags, suppressor covers, shooting mats, and a whole lot more, Coltac is creating tough, durable, and innovative gear for both civilian and professional markets. Go to coltac.com to see all that they have to offer. That's cole-tac.com. If you are looking to get a new rifle or build your own, look no further than Kelbley's. Kelbley's actions and rifles have a higher level of accuracy and hold 92 world records set on either one of their rifles or rifle actions. Whether you're looking for an ultralight mountain rifle or wanting to compete in precision rifle shooting, Kelbley's has you covered. Go to kelbley.com to find out more or give them a call as their customer service is the best. That's KELBLY.com. Kelbley's. If you're looking to take your hunting to another level, there's no better way to do it than by subscribing to onX Hunt. If you want to get better at hunting and go deeper into your scouting, onX is the #1 GPS app for that. Join the millions of hunters who trust onX Hunt to find more game, discover new access, and hunt smarter. If you want to know more about onX, go to onxmaps.com/hunt or download their app today for a free trial. If you are wanting to become more accurate and deadly with your shooting, one of the best things you can do is upgrade your trigger with a Timney. Timney triggers are 100% made in America and have been since their founding, providing a crisp, reliable, and repeatable trigger break every time. I'll be shooting Timney triggers in my guns this year, and I hope you'll join me in shooting the world's finest trigger. Go to timneytriggers.com to get yours today. Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Seekers podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Mack. Today I'm sitting here on the back porch on a nice blue bird. Well, technically, blue sky. We don't have bluebirds down here in the state of Texas, do we?
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. We have blue bonnets.
Yeah.
State flower. Soaking up the sun, enjoying our time. We got good buddy Beastmaster Jeff Winslow drove all the way down 22 hours from the state of North Dakota to come on his very first, what I like to call a Texas safari. If you follow along on social media, Instagram at all, I was posting some stories over the weekend from when this episode is recorded about Jeff's first hog hunt, getting on it. And when Jeff came down here to shoot hogs, but a Texas safari can include anything that's open season. Coons, bobcats, coyotes, jackrabbits, armadillos, skunks. Like, the list just continues to go. Fox. Like, it's just whatever you end up running into.
Yeah.
But we were specifically laying it down for a hog hunt. And Jeff, we were talking, I hit record button on everything before I let everyone know. But JW, you were looking up a quote. What quote were you looking up?
Oh, man. Shoot. I put it away because I thought you started.
Oh, dude, it's a part of the podcast.
So I was like,
we're recording. So what we were talking about is time and how being a jack of all trades but ace of none. Jeff's like, well, there's this whole quote about it. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever actually heard the whole quote. Sam, have you?
No, I don't think I have.
What do you got, Jeff?
But I understand it.
Yeah. Do you guys consider yourselves ace of none? No, you consider yourself an ace of a few. I can tell.
No, I don't. I never think I've ever gotten to the top of the mountain with anything.
Well, you're pretty humble.
I just want to be a student in kind of life, I guess you could say. Hunting world, mechanicking, blue collar work, whatever,
Yeah. Like that sticker on the back of your truck, support blue collar.
Yeah, that runs deep with me. Like, everybody's, modern day, it's like, get your degree, you have to do this, you got to do that, which there's a place for that, But you need ditch diggers too, right, Jeff?
yep, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I mean, heck, I firmly believe that the blue collar guy makes the world go around, and I've seen it firsthand, and I know what has to go into it, So
Yeah.
that sticker means a lot to me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not blue collar. I got soft hands.
You say that a lot, but you
got some dog in you.
you got some dog in you, dude. Yeah.
We went to pick up that freezer yesterday, and you just put your hands on the side of it, and you were able to pick it up. I was like, I need to get my fingers underneath it so I can actually
Yeah.
grab onto
Sam's
it.
got those working man hands,
Yeah.
well calloused.
Yeah.
All right, what quote you got for us, Jeff?
Oh no, we were just talking about the master of, what were you saying? Jack of all trades, master of none. But the finishing is, though, oftentimes is better than the master of one, and which is crazy because we were talking on the way back from Gravestone today. We went and shot, and that was a ton of fun. We were talking about our gun experiences and how much we like shooting this, that, and the other thing. I told him, I was shooting the King of 1 Mile stuff, and I was talking to some of these guys that, they're world-class shooters. They're shooting King of 1 Mile France and Chile and going down to South Africa. And they're asking me about my gun, and we were talking about it, and they were confused when I said, I'm shooting a gun that has a Magnum bolt face. So that way, when I'm done shooting this, I can take the barrel off and I can use this for my hunting rifle. And they were perplexed by that. And these are some of the world's best shooters. And that made me, that we were talking about, I was like, these are, some of them are niche guys, like very much niche guys. Like that's their niche. Like I stepped into their world and they start talking about neck tensions and different things and like all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I've never thought about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But, I like, if I can shoot some 3-gun or if I can shoot some PRS or an NRL Hunter or some ELR, I like to just be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And learn, and you're constantly learning. Like
I like to say to people, nerd alert. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's good. It's true.
So be a jack of all trades. It's better than being a master of one.
Yeah. Like we were talking about, like, how you were saying, like shooting and hunting is your only 2 hobbies now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I told you, I was like, man, if it wasn't for my wife, I might have already sold the airboat.
Yep.
Because that's me too. Like hunting, shooting, fishing, out. I mean, that's it. That's all I do.
Yeah.
But that was the trade-off I made with my wife, so that because I have a very addictive personality, and when
Me
I do
too.
something, I want to make sure I'm doing as good as I can do.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been hard with like photography and all these things, because I want to learn, so I'm constantly asking questions. But then there's part of me that's trying to like rein that back, because I don't want to just dive into another thing and then have my wife be, great, here we go. Now we're spending money on another thing.
Well, you already dove into it. You already purchased everything for photography that you need.
Well, yeah, but now I'm looking at better lenses, and it's like, geez. It's kind of like scopes, right? I remember I bought my first Vortex, and I was like, man, this thing's awesome. And then slowly after that, I was like, man, I got me some Night Forces, and I was like, that's pretty good. And then all of a sudden, got me some Leupold Mark Vs rolling around, and Mark IV. Brought that down with me on this trip with you guys. You're sitting there, you know what I mean? It just,
oh yeah.
Now I'm sitting there. I was talking to Sam on the way back. I was like, I was thinking about selling all that just to get a Tangent Theta.
Yeah. We talked about that.
I'm going to sell 4 scopes just to buy one.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know what you guys were talking about right there.
Oh,
A tangent.
Tangent Theta.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I never heard of it.
you remember the first time you watched TV in high def? It's like that. You can look through it and you see everything. Like you're sitting there looking at 700 yards and you're watching this gnat just walk across a piece of steel in low light.
They're impressive.
Yeah.
You can watch the wake come off your bullet as it drops into the target.
If you're shooting at a distance, that's good enough for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fascinating. So my very first Leupold scope was a VX3i, 3 to 9, or I guess is like a 3.5 to 10 or whatever it was by 40. And when I got that scope, I was like, dude, this is pretty clear, man. This is a good scope. I put it on a gun, and Sam was going to the range. I was like, hey man, do you mind just sighting this in if you got time? He's like, dude, the scope sucks.
Yeah, but 25 years ago or 20 years ago, or that was the best.
Yeah, why? It's crazy the technology, how
Oh
far
yeah,
it's come.
yeah. They
My f-
all these companies have really stepped it up.
my
Like,
first scope was a VX2 3 to 9. But you got to remember in Washington too, we never went past 9 power because we were hunting uh, big timber stands, and clear
Mhm.
cuts. We weren't taking shots over 100 yards.
yeah.
You didn't need anything.
My first scope was a Simmons
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
on a 30-06
Yeah.
Woodmaster.
So my real first scope was an ACOG.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
he was a gas gunner.
Well, I still am.
What? That's right. My bad.
I still am. Yeah. So my first scope, like that, I actually okay. I'm air quoting asterisks this. My very first scope that I bought was off of Amazon, and it doesn't even have like I think it's a Leapers.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like it came with rings,
Sure. But it got you shooting though.
but it's on that 300 blackout, and Carter used it to kill his very first deer.
yeah.
That fixed 4-power. Anyway, so that was my first scope, and then I bought an ACOG. Wait. Yep. I was gonna say. I was trying to think. I had that on my AR, and it looked ridiculous because of just what it was. And then I got the ACOG, and then I got the loophole, and
Bob's your uncle.
now it's like, man.
I love that Sam said it. His first was a 30-06. That cartridge has killed more critters in North America than any other cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
And we dog on it now.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, bullets, all that stuff.
Yeah. I
But
mean, technology's taking
Brass,
over.
yeah. But that cartridge right there has killed more critters.
Really, like growing up, it was if you were deer hunting, it was 30-30,
Mm-hmm.
270,
Yep.
243,
Yep.
or 30-06.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what everybody you knew had.
Yep.
When I was a kid. And
Or
growing up.
22 250.
Yeah, those varmint guys mostly
Yeah.
had those, But
Yep.
So Jay, you drove all the way down here, 22 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You never been on a pig hunt.
Nope.
Never been to Texas. You
Nope.
never hunted Texas.
Nope.
I moved down, and all you listeners, Jeff and I, we were college buddies and old roommates, and he always hunted, and I never did. And I give him a hard time, or at least I did. I said something about it on this trip. I was like, dude,
Still do.
like
Not
you
but that's
hunted all
okay.
these years, and I never got it was never, hey man, let's go hunt, let's go do something, let's go chase it. And it's kind of I reflect back on it, it's like that is how the majority of hunters are, where it's not this thing where people want to share the gospel of hunting that much. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, but as much as you love it, you kind of keep it to yourself. And I
Right.
like how you mentioned a podcast that I did with Randy Newberg when you're like, yeah, he says, just because someone else has something doesn't mean I don't have something.
Right. Talking about that loser mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have because somebody else has.
Mm-hmm.
It's a loser mentality, especially in the hunting world. Like, I don't have a big elk because they shot a big elk.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You know?
And Jeff was with me on my very first elk hunt. And when I took that beautiful bull,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember you being like, man, you were really upset about that's a whole story. Guys, go listen to that former podcast. And we
Yep.
released that like 200 episodes ago. But hashed out this whole, he's like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to be elk hunting again. I think this is it.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I was like, all because you didn't get a chance to shoot a bull on this trip? I was like, no way.
No.
That wasn't the
Right.
dialogue, but I'm like, dude,
There
you
was-
can't
there was
say
more
you're
to
a
it than that.
hunter. You can't say you're a hunter. You're never gonna be hunting elk ever again.
You got to remember though, like I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was physically hard on me. I'm a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even bigger then. So, like that, like I've always told you this, like I've always prided myself on having a certain level of mental toughness, and my mental toughness can grind me through anything.
Yeah.
And that was hard. I
Mhm.
just had to mentally grind through that, and physically, I didn't think I could do it again.
Yeah. So this whole you shoot a big elk means I don't shoot a big elk. What'd you end up doing a year or two? Was it 2 years later or 1 year later? It was the next year.
Oh yeah, then I shot an absolute banger.
Yeah,
the next year.
he drew a once in a lifetime tag.
Yeah, he told me about that
But
one.
that trip right there that we were on, like, don't forget. Um, so we drew straws or coins, flip,
We literally drew
and
straws.
Yeah.
and it was Johnny's turn to shoot that day, so he did, and he got a good one. But we got rained out the next day. But I could have woke up the next day and there were still elk there.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
chose
Like,
not to hunt, and
you know what
the
I mean?
hunter ended up killing an
So,
elk
like
a
the
couple
idea
hundred
that
yards from.
I didn't get to shoot an elk because he shot that elk, I had chances.
Right.
I just didn't do it.
Right.
It's that simple.
It was interesting. Anyways, the whole concept of just spreading the gospel and like you live with the guy who hunts, and now let's see here, that was literally almost 20 years ago
Mhm.
that we lived together, and now we're finally
Now we're
hunting
just
together.
bringing it full circle.
Yeah,
hmm
life is a fascinating story in that regard.
Oh yeah, and especially where we're at right now
Yeah,
in Texas.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
to be meeting up in a location
To-
like completely random.
To be able to live together and then move thousands of miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we couldn't be any further away. I'm on the Canadian border
Right.
and the Montana border, and Johnny's down here in Texas. We couldn't live further apart, but we're still getting together um, to hunt and whatnot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's ironic how it all just came together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're right here on the back porch enjoying a good time, and I just got a text message from Dustin Coleman of Coltac. Such a cool dude. Really like him. We're gonna
Great products,
we're gonna
by the way,
get him
too.
down on a Texas safari.
Yeah.
Potentially this summer or this fall, we'll film it for an
Hey,
episode of Soul Seekers.
You let him know too. Like, not only great products, but Coltac supports the precision rifle community, which we're all a part of. Sam and I, we do a lot of stuff too. And Johnny, you're going to be getting into it, and that Coltac really goes out of their way to support the boys. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. It's as good as it gets, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So tell us about what you thought hog hunting in Texas was going to be like. You've had buddies that have gone to Oklahoma. They
Mhm.
hunted hogs in a high fence
Mhm.
because I was like, hey, you're guaranteed.
Yep.
Like, just
Feeders.
tell
and
us the
all-
background of what you knew coming into something.
As far as hog hunting goes, I didn't know a whole lot, but I love watching the hog hunting videos on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And I love watching some of the Instagram personalities that are always hunting hogs with thermals,
Yeah.
and you catch some of their footage and be like, wow, that's incredible. That's like the dream, right? You're like, you walking up on pigs at night and in thermals and all that, and you're like, that's incredible. I'd like to try that. My experience, like you said, I got a lot of buddies up in North Dakota. They always make a trip to Oklahoma every year, and they hunt hogs. And every time they come back from the trip, the enthusiasm and the things that they talk about, and the camaraderie, the fun, and all that stuff. Man, I got to do that. And they've always set up their trips so I could go. I'm a school teacher, and they always set it up so I could go on my spring break. And there's always been a reason why I don't go, or this, that, or the other thing. And so this year, the irony is they didn't go on their annual pig trip.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm down here in Texas on my spring break on my first ever pig trip without them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic how it all worked out. But
What did you imagine or preconceived idea of like hog hunting? Because when you talk to somebody who doesn't hunt a lot, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you live in Texas? I want to go on a helicopter hog hunt." Just like
Yeah.
people say
bring
that
your checkbook.
all the time.
Yeah.
But never seeing a hog in the wild, like getting an
Right.
idea of the size of them, how they operate, the like toughness of them. What was your
Well,
after you've hunted bears, you've hunted elk, you've hunted
mhm.
deer, you've hunted antelope,
you name
you
it.
know, but you haven't hunted hogs. What's your experience of like that animal and what
Well-
you thought coming into it?
Yeah, I had to ask a lot of questions because you don't know what you don't know. For one, I thought we were going to sit on a feeder, kind of like whitetail hunting.
Mhm.
And we were just going to sit there, and that was going to be it. And if they showed up, great. And if they didn't, we'll try again tomorrow.
Right.
That was what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
right? And we were just going to sit together and, chop it up. And if they came in, we'd shoot. And if they didn't, well, we tried.
Yeah.
So that was how I thought it was going to go. And then once we started moving into hogs or once we started moving and doing different things, finding them in the dark, and I was like, oh, well, are we just going to walk straight at them? Like, no. That, like any other critter, they're trying to live, and one of their best assets is their nose. And if they smell you, they're
Right.
gone. I was like, okay. I was like, even in the dark, they can't see us. We're like, no. So that first group that we got on, when Sam was like, hey, look, we're going to walk all the way around. That's why I asked. I was like, are we playing the wind? We're like, oh, yeah. And both you guys were like, we got to have the wind right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Wind is everything.
Yeah.
It is.
In hunting, it's everything.
Even with these critters,
Yeah.
I think especially with these critters, especially when you get them in a big group. I mean, you got to think of how many noses you've got. Their eyesight isn't the best, especially at night. But them noses will keep them alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not just trying to beat one nose. That potentially a sounder of hogs could be 30
or more.
Know? Or
depending,
more.
And that first group we got on, I think there was like 20 something in it.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So thermal hunting, absolute best. Absolute best. I can't recommend it enough.
The greatest quote, and I stole it from Sam, and I'm going to take it all the way back to Williston with me. He goes, "That's the most fun you can have with your clothes on."
Yeah.
Because it's the best quote. It's the only way to describe it.
The worst part is the lack of sleep. For me, I'm not as young as I used to be. It is not, and I rally hard, and I operate well without sleep. But dude, 2 nights of that back to back,
it's tough.
Well,
it beat me down.
I came on that drive, so I drove from North Dakota to Denver, stayed the night. I got 3 hours of sleep in Denver, and then I woke up at 3 a.m. so I could get to here by 2:30, so that we could get out to where we were going by 4:30, and then we went all night, and got done. What did we get done about 6? We got home about 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that whole experience with the storm and everything really messed it up.
Yes, it did.
I mean, the hunting was
phenomenal. I didn't want to leave it.
I would say the hunting was as good as it can get.
That's about it.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can't expect better hunting than we got to, participate in. But that storm really kind of messed the night up.
Yeah.
You ever have a buddy that one moors you or last cast you? It's like when someone's fishing, they're like, "Hey, man, last cast," but you know that there's going to be 20 more casts after that. Because you just don't want to leave. Because for whatever reason,
I've never had a buddy do that to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But we've never really fished together, Johnny.
we fish with the kiddos over the pond.
That's a little different.
Well, if you're ever sitting around, chewing it up or talking shop, and you're having a couple drinks, and then you're in the middle of a story, and a buddy goes, "Why don't we just have one more?"
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I got a couple buddies up north that are notorious for that they just one more you to death.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's 3:00 in the morning. You're calling Uber because you know you told your wife you're going to be out there for 15 minutes, and 5 hours later.
I mean, I'm that guy to people.
Yeah, you got one more.
I do that to you.
Yeah. Hey, man, one more thing.
Yeah, on the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just tell you this one more thing. Yeah. Hey, real quick, let's take a break from this podcast and wake ourselves up. This episode is brought to you by smelling salts. So those of you who never experienced smelling salts, we're about to take a hit of this.
Hey, if it's good enough for Joe Rogan, it's good enough for us.
That's right.
Well, yeah. So in the middle of the night when you are dragging and you don't have coffee or whatever, energy drinks, which I think is garbage, but you can do whatever you want. We were taking pulls off of smelling salts.
Yeah, I had to have a little treat for everybody.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit it right now, fellas.
Yeah.
You listeners, here we go. This is YYDSYS. What does that stand for?
I have no idea, but I got it on Amazon. It was overnighted.
Overnighted smelling salts for external use only. Here we go. I'm a little nervous to do it while I'm recording.
Just get into it.
Oh. Oh yeah,
you can, you
get
can,
you some.
you can tell he's starting to gain experience with it because the first time he hit it, he just ran it into his nose and
Yeah.
just yanked it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
about Ralphed all over the place.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to get the casual smell, just eases into the first one, you know. Like if you just give it the first one, just all right, things starting to clean up, and then you just pop in there. Woo!
Yeah,
That's it.
You just go right in for it.
Yep.
So I have horrible sinuses, and my
You know, you notice that Sammy's always a 3 guy. I'm a 2 guy. I like to get that short one in there and then that long one. He just goes in there, goes 2 shorts, and then yanks that third one.
Excuse me, guys.
Here, I better get another rip.
Oh gosh, we're going
man.
round 2.
Yeah,
Let's bring it together, boys.
we can't.
My mental acuity right now is on point.
Podcasting about hog hunting and ripping smelling salts. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, that got both nostrils. Here
There
we
you
go.
go.
That's that's good because that other nostril don't work.
Oh, dude. I'm gonna. Hey, kids.
Yeah, they won't be sleeping.
You start to get used to it a little bit.
Ooh.
That first time I hit it, my face, like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
nice.
I look like that police officer on Dumb and Dumber after he drinks the pee and he goes,
Yeah.
"Get the hell out of here! You know
Yeah.
what's good for you."
Follow on the socials for that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you didn't talk so much about the hogs exactly. Like, what caliber? Do you think
Like the size? Are you talking like the size and like the
yeah,
like actually get my hands
like
on?
how tough they are
Oh,
and what?
I'll tell you right now. My buddies up north, they were telling me like, man, these things are tough. But it's one of those things that you just don't know until you experience it.
Yeah.
Like I believed them,
Uh-huh.
you know, I believe these guys. They're like, these are tough critters. And I was telling them, I built a 22 Creedmoor to come down here just to shoot these things. And I'm shooting a bullet just for these pigs, you know. And I was thinking to myself, I hope I got enough ass in this thing to take one of these down. All right, you know. And our very first set that we got in on, we walked out.
My eyes are tearing up right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's because of
And,
the 22 Creed, isn't it?
yeah,
Yep.
sure is.
But we walked out there, and I saw this one pig, and we're like, all right, guys, ready? We're going to 3, 2, 1 this thing, and we're going to shoot these critters. And I'm like, okay. And mine turned a little bit. I was like, I'm going to shoot this thing in the ass anyways because I know what this cartridge can do, and I know what this bullet's going to do. And this should just be an absolute massacre. Like, this thing ain't – we're 50, 60 yards from this thing?
Yeah, it's 70 at
Yeah.
max. You
I
know,
was
we
like,
were right upon them.
this thing's just going to fall right where it's at. So it turned on one, and then eventually you'll see it on your TV show, and maybe I shoot that thing right in the ass, and that back end drops, and then it starts running away. I was like, what? And then Sam just bones that thing, and it just falls over. Like, hey, thanks for batting clean up there. I didn't think that was it. And then the rest of the night, like,
They're tough critters, aren't they?
You
man.
gave it an old Texas heart shot.
I gave it the Texas heart shot in Texas, and
I mean, yeah. What bullet were you shooting again?
the 64 grain hammers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Johnny, you were shooting
I was shooting 55 grain Hornady CX out of a 5.56.
yeah.
tell you what.
And I was shooting the 110 grain CX out of my 300 blackout.
Them bullets you got did the number on some of them critters too.
Yeah, it's weird. You have to hit them in the neck because
Yeah.
if you don't, like even if you do, they're still running unless you just happen to nail that spinal cord.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really, I mean, their will to live is incredible, and they're tough animals.
Yeah.
And I got to shout out my buddy Josh because when he goes to Oklahoma, he catches a lot of grief because he headshots pigs, so he can never euro them, and just thousands of pieces, fragmented skull.
Yeah.
He can never euro them. So he's telling me, he's like, man, just you find a nice one, don't shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. And then we get to the one night where we're all just we get to the point where we just start shooting them in the head. And I was just like,
Yeah. I mean,
but you shoot them in the head,
They drop.
yeah, that's it.
yeah, it's end of story. You
Yeah.
know, you're not wasting ammo. You're not making the animal suffer and all that.
Mhm.
And all you listeners, by the way, if you're a type of person where it's like, oh, you don't shoot it unless you're gonna eat it type concept, or it's like these pigs down here are equated to rodents.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't want rodents around your house. You're never going to think twice about how you go about killing that rodent.
So the
Like
best way I could describe it from my perspective up north is like we shoot a lot of prairie dogs. Ranchers hate them. They'll go out there. They'll poison, whole prairie dog colonies.
yeah.
You watch thousands of prairie dogs disappear, and then you look half a mile the other way, and there's another 1,000 more.
Yeah, it's
Right?
it's they're very destructive on ranch property.
Mhm.
It's just so where we got the majority of the hogs. I mean, we killed a few over the feeder, but most of them were in ag country. I mean, we were hunting on wheat fields that have cattle turned out in them.
that need to be protected.
Well, you darn right. I mean that seed is expensive, and you're planting that to graze cattle on, not graze pigs. You know.
And that gasoline to run those tractors is expensive.
Oh, every bit of it is. You know.
That diesel.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's livelihood of people. You know.
Yeah.
So it's not a sure it can be a leisure activity for us, but for others it's their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I love it. So we went and hunted Sam's lease the first night, and we were cruising around. My lease is a lot smaller, different setup, and so we had to walk in, but we walked in on 2 really nice hogs and got your first boars of the trip.
Yep. We so we spent that first night on Sam's, and we shot a pile of pigs, and that was a good time. But then we had that storm push us out, and that kind of slowed things down. Because I think if that storm wouldn't have showed up, we probably would
Yeah, it could have
piled
been
up
all
another
night
10
deal.
more.
Yeah,
We,
our plan that Johnny came up with going back and forth between them two fields.
Just keep swinging.
Yeah, we would have been able to
we would have cleaned
get
house.
some damage done. You
So
know?
we left there, and then the next night, we went to Johnny's lease, and we eased into that one, and right away, not minutes into this thing, right on the 2-track, where Johnny had some corn. There's a boar sitting in there, and
feeding right at us.
yep, walking right towards us.
Crosswind, no idea we were there.
Perfect setup.
Yep.
It was,
And-
Again, in an ag field.
yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
100%.
Which just like 100 yards behind them is a giant tear up of
Where they
right-
rooted up the ground.
Yep.
Yep.
Like you look at it and you're like, that's weird.
Right.
Like that's what hogs do. Anyways,
But
so
yeah, so we walked in on that one, and that was really cool. And and Johnny said this time, he goes, "Hey, here's what's gonna happen." He goes, "We're gonna shoot together because we cannot have these pigs run off." And what was cool is we had them just kind of one at a time, not big sounders.
Yeah.
And I learned what a sounder was, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what you called a group of pigs.
like a gaggle of geese.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a murder of crows.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, we had one pig out there, and Johnny was like, "Hey, if this one's by itself, it's probably a boar." And I didn't know that either, that the boars kind of stuck to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so we're getting pretty fired up. I'm thinking we're going to dump this big boar. And he goes, "We're going to 3, 2, 1 this. We're going to shoot it together, and we need it to drop, and so we don't chase it." Cool. So we did. We eased on into about 50, 60 yards, and 3, 2, 1. And I told him on the first one, after we were recapping, I go, "I jumped the gun on the first one." He goes, "I knew it. I heard it." I got impatient. We went 3, 2, 1, and on one I pulled the trigger, and then the half second that didn't hear John's, but we fed that thing with 2 bullets right in the sweet meat, and that thing just dumped right there, and it was kicking. So at your lease, when they were still kicking, you're like, "Hey, keep sending them." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right."
Pump another one in.
Yep. So on Johnny's lease, being a little bit smaller, he we didn't talk about it at the time, but we shoot this one, it starts kicking, and so I run another one into it. He goes, "Quit it, man, that thing's dead already." He goes, "This is a small lease, we don't need to be scaring off the other pigs."
Yeah, that's a different dynamic.
Well, and that's the thing. Like we were walking up on sounders of hogs, so your first shot is a one shot, and we're all shooting different hogs.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both shooting one
hog.
hog,
Yeah.
2 bullets in it. Like
Yeah.
it already is going to be eating two
Yeah.
things, and but yeah, it's a small lease. And you have a road dividing it down the middle, so that really creates the even smaller factor
Yeah.
Mhm.
of it.
And so, I mean, that's when we talk about the learning stuff, right? So then I'm like, and then as soon as you told me that, I was like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That made 100% sense. And then, so we get up there and we look at that one, and then we turn the corner and we start scanning, and we don't see nothing. So we're just sitting there for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, just kind of visiting, enjoying the night.
Watching coons,
Yep.
thinking about shooting them, but it was like,
But we don't want that to mess up the pig hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like a coyote on a deer hunt. Like,
Yep.
oh, I really want to shoot that coyote. I really want to shoot that coon, but we're on a pig hunt.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, we're just enjoying the night. It's a beautiful night. Little bit of rain, but that kind of dissipated. And then not even, 30, 40 minutes later, Johnny's like, there's a pig right there. I was like, where? And
More
if
of
you
a
go
whisper,
back,
but
yeah, if you look at my thermal footage, I'm scanning everywhere but the pig. Like, I'm looking up and down like the feeder. I'm looking at the trees. I'm like, there's a raccoon. And he's like, it's right there. I was like, all right. So I swing back. And I'm like, all right, cool. There it is. He's like, you want it? I was like, I'm on it. And we got it just right. And we 3-2-1 that thing. And that thing it dropped and didn't move.
Yeah.
Like, there was no feet kicking, nothing, just dropped. And he's like, all right, let's not go up and get it yet. Let's just wait. And we kind of went back and forth the rest of the night trying to look for some different things. And there were tons of pigs around. We could hear them, but they weren't quite coming in.
Right.
And so by that time, we were so tired. I was tired.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit, I just looked at John. I was like, hey, man, you think we call this night a little bit early and go home? He's like, yep, not a problem.
Yep.
So we go up and we start grabbing the pigs, and then the second pig had little cutters on it. And I was like, awesome, because that's all I wanted down on the trip. I was
Get
like,
you a good Euro.
If we could find, a boar with some cutters on it, I go, whether they're big cutters or small cutters, doesn't matter to me. And these boar with some cutters on it, and we got it. And he's like, congrats, bro. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. It was awesome. They were good-sized pigs.
Real good-sized pigs.
Yeah. Bringing home the bacon. And on our way out, we spotted 3 hogs across the pond. But then we just couldn't get on them.
Yeah.
And a longer shot.
Yep.
Yep.
It's so hard to, if you don't have an LRF on your thermals, I mean, that was one thing that I was sitting there looking through my thermal, and it's a good thermal, and I just couldn't tell how far things were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what, like, it's always good to have a buddy that you're hunting with in the group to have one.
Yep.
It's useful, especially if you're not getting right up on them.
I didn't realize Johnny had one on until halfway through the thing.
I remember I was asking him the range, and you were like, how do you,
because you said,
what are
hey,
y'all talking about?
You said, hey, we need to take 50 more steps. And I'm like, why do we need to take 50 more steps? I was like, this seems pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he had the range on it.
Yeah.
Then until you said, hey, what's the range on that? And John's like, 120 yards. And I was like, oh, this guy's got a rangefinder on his thermal.
Yeah. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it sure helps.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is about that is if you're hunting country that you're familiar with and you've seen it during the day,
it helps.
It helps know your distances at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're looking at that hog on the 2-track being like, oh, man, how far away is this? And I'm like, it's not that far from the bend, and we're going to be hunting right around this corner, And so I'm, looking at it. And the other thing is these animals are deceivingly bigger, but you see a big one. A big animal is a big animal. Because you're so used to looking at these skunks or anything that glows. You're like, oh, well, it's just a field mouse. And you see all these little white spots. And then all of a sudden you see a shooter animal, and it's like, whoa, that's awesome.
That's why I always like to have, like, people who haven't thermal hunted a lot, don't have a lot of experience, or have never done it, to look at cows first.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, this is what cattle look like. This is what calves look like. Have an idea. Here's a deer, and now let's go find pigs.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So on top of doing a thermal hog hunt, you also got to experience an exotic hunt.
Yeah, that was wild. I didn't know what to expect on that, because the exotics are all high fenced, and I was like, man,
not all exotics are high fence in Texas, such as axis deer run wild.
Oh, do they?
Aoudad run wild.
Yep.
Nilgai run wild
down in South Texas. Yeah. There's a few elk,
and elk is considered exotic, and then my buddy Graham, he actually has a bunch of the nilgai-ish type animals, but they're African that he's got them.
Mhm.
They're even reproducing little babies. Anyways, an exotic animal in Texas, you can hunt year round. Like you
Yep.
want to hunt elk in December, you want to hunt elk in March, February, sure, because it's an exotic. You might not be carrying heavy antlers at that point, but
Right.
anyway, so you got on this exotic
Yeah.
hunt. That was pretty cool.
So you guys opened up an opportunity for me to do that, and price was right, and I was like, let's do it. Let's do this thing, because I don't know how many times I'm gonna make it down to Texas. Hopefully, a whole lot more.
Hmm.
But you never know. As I've never done it before. I wanted to experience it, and so we got out there, and we went to looking because you had to go find it on a big piece of property, and uh, so we had to go trucking around, and we found it, and then we found it. Then we had to find a way to shoot it because, like all critters, right? They all have that innate ability to want to survive.
Hmm.
And when we got on him, he started moving. He was boogieing.
Yeah.
He was out of there, and so it took a little bit of doing. But once we finally got into a spot where we could get a shot on him and whatnot, we did. And I was using your gun for that, and that's the first time I'd ever shot it.
This is the first time that 22 Creedmoor has taken an animal. I was trying to get my boys to shoot a deer during deer season this year, but we just didn't have the opportunity.
That's a
But
sweet rig.
it laid the hammer down.
Yeah.
80 grain ELDM.
Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did exactly what it should have done.
And then recovered.
Recovered the bullet on the backside of the skin.
Yep.
Yeah, it was quartering towards.
Yep.
Put it right in the slot.
Put it right in the sweet meat, and that thing went 10 yards, and
That was it.
that was it.
What do you think about hunting high fences?
You're asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you first, and then I'm going to ask Jeff.
I think it has a bad rap for people that have never done it. I think it's a good thing for people that don't get opportunities to go out west or anything like that.
Mhm.
Or if you live in the city and you don't have a lease and you still want to be a hunter, and for a new hunter, I think it's a great thing. A couple weeks ago, I guided a guy from Austin, lives in the city, and wanted to hunt some hogs on found the first place he could get on, and I guided him on a hunt, and he had the time of his life. He couldn't ask for anything more. And
Yeah.
that ranch we were hunting it's about 400 acres. So I mean, it's not small. It's not a pen. These animals are wild, and you got to work for them.
I mean, you said there was hogs in there. We never even saw them.
Yeah, I mean, we drove the
Mhm.
whole place, and we didn't come across any hogs, and so I mean, it's not it's not free range, but it's not a caged animal. It can be as hard as you want it to be. Really,
Right.
You
Like
can make
instead
it.
of taking a buggy around, walk.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
Go
It's a.
find it yourself.
I think it's a great opportunity for people who don't have the means to go out west, or the mentor to go out west. You can go to a good hunting ranch and have a good guide, and he can teach you some things that you can take and further yourself with.
Yeah.
And I think it has a bad name to certain people, but it's a good opportunity for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Jeff, what was your take on high fence?
Well, I had a lot of. I was an out west hunter,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'd never do it. That was my mentality. Like, I'd never do it.
Yeah. Public land hunters it's like
Um,
the fly fishermen of hunting. Is the purest of the sport.
Yeah, we can be pretty snooty, and you know what I liken it to is I used to dog on all these high end camo companies. Like, man, the Sitkas, the First Lights, the Cryptex, screw all those folks and all their stuff. It's all garbage. I'm out here hunting animals in my $10 Bass Pro camo. Well, that was because I was 400 pounds, and
Mhm.
they didn't have anything in my size, so it's easy to dismiss it all. And so without ever experiencing high fenced hunting, it's easy for me to dismiss it because I can hunt public land for deer, and I can be in the mountains for elk, and I can do those things.
Mhm.
I don't need a high fence.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything like I thought it was going to be. I thought we were just gonna roll up, shoot a critter, and be done with it. And it was, you had to work for it. That now in the back of your mind though, the it's a little bit of confidence, like, okay,
If I blow the stock out, we're not. It's not
right.
Gonna
That's the piece that I was like, that was nice mentally, knowing like, you could be in Colorado hunting elk, and you're 100 yards away, and here's your shot, and then all of a sudden they win you and they're gone, and they're 3 miles away, and you'll never see them again.
Dude, that's a concept I've never thought about. What a phenomenal opportunity to practice stalking animals with archery equipment.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a high fence and like
Learn.
even if you're not even going to shoot them, just work on
Yes.
getting in on animals.
That's why I like guiding them so much, because it's making me as a hunter better, because I'm having to look and think, and I might have somebody hunting with me that is very unexperienced, that knows nothing, and so it forces me to be good at reading wind and stalking and all that. And some of those archery hunts are my favorite to guide people with, because you can teach them so much in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's interesting going back to the thermal hunting with Jeff. The second hog that he shot, I spotted it, but because we're filming, I wanted to go set up a camera thermal behind us so we could get
good
over,
footage.
over the shoulder. And I told Jeff before we got to where we ended up standing, I was like, "Hey, as we get down this 2-track, the brush gets taller, so be careful and quiet."
Mm-hmm.
And I set up the camera and I start making my way back to my gun. And sure enough, and Jeff he was on the hog at that time, and he goes, "Yeah, dude, it just checked up," and like,
yeah, Johnny broke a twig, and that hog stopped.
Yeah.
Dead in its tracks. It knew the gig. Something wasn't right.
Something wasn't right.
yeah, it was interesting, and it was working towards us, and then it started working away from us, and but we hammered it. It was really fascinating. But yeah, going back to the high fence, it's shifting gears. African hunting is not North American model of wildlife management.
Right.
Every animal has a dollar value,
Mm-hmm.
and that dollar value is what also protects these animals and keeps them alive and keeps
people
keeps
lose
it
sight
going,
of that.
right? Like, yeah, oh, dude, a rich guy goes and shoots a lion for $50,000 in Africa. No, must be nice. So it's like, well, yeah, but that $50,000 for that lion is now protecting all these other animals and the reproduction of lions and it's a different model. And so when I was in the high fence and you, Sam, teaching us about it, and it's like, well, yeah, everything in here has a price tag.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever you want to shoot it today, you can. Just you got to be able to pay for it.
I didn't even want to. I asked him. I was like, "All right, so how much are pigs?" Because I didn't even want to ask at that point. But I was like, if we come across pigs, I'm like, this is going to be tough to say no.
Yeah, but that is.
But we never did come across pigs.
High fence hunting in Texas is very similar conservation model to African hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and that I think is not conveyed very often to people.
Yeah, it's just two separate models.
It's a different model. Like a lot of people, oh well, it has an ear tag or has, it's like the size of the pen, size of the land that you're hunting with the property, really dictates, the feel and the experience of it. But everything is still protected.
Yeah, because
Yeah, so the price tag is just really interesting in the African model, and just it was the first time experiencing it, and that's really what popped in my mind. High fence hunting, not for everyone.
It's not for everybody.
It is not for everyone. And if you go into it with all of it's bad, then you lose the sight of what it's actually still doing and creating opportunities for people, because there's a lot of good in it.
Yeah, I mean, that guy that was down from Austin that was hunting with me, and he shot. I want to say he killed 4 pigs, and we butchered every bit of them. I mean, we hung them in the cold storage, and I taught him how to break down an animal. And it was almost like a different. It wasn't just a hunt for him. He got a lot out of it, and I feel like I made a good impact on him,
Yeah.
And then he got to take all that meat home, and I was telling him how to cook it, and he was texting me. So it's not like it's a kill and then get in the truck and drive home type thing. I mean, it was I made sure I tried to do my best with people, and you'll get mixed bags of people that come hunt them kind of ranches and whatnot.
Yep.
But this kid, he was really wanting to learn and he enjoyed it. He really thanked me afterwards.
I think now I'm speaking for myself, right? This is not speaking for hunting or listeners who are maybe interested in wanting to hunt a high fence, or I don't want to put a negative taste in mouths. If I was to hunt a high fence, I think it would need to be at least 1,000 acres. That would be the size to make it feel the chase that I want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we saw the hogs. Now I'm talking. Now let me also say that this is for other animals beyond hogs, because if we're paying for a high fence hog hunt, that size is actually I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, I'm paying for this adventure. How much are you going to pay for a movie ticket? How much are you going to pay for airline tickets somewhere? How much, like we pay money for all these things. Why not we go pay and go hammer on something that we know we're going to see? Because you and I have spent a lot of nights outside hunting in the dark, chasing hogs and stuff, and we still never even see anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know they're there.
And we know they're there. So,
Mhm.
I think hogs, definitely a high fence hunt that's a great idea.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
great.
a great idea.
One thing I like that I was gonna start doing, I didn't do it this year, but like next year, I want to take my wife on have her shoot an axis doe or something, like for Valentine's Day, and like do it just like, hey, like this is our Valentine's deal, and like just start a routine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be she would enjoy it. It would be low pressure for her and all that, and then plus we'd get all that great meat and a good hide out of it. So
See, look at Sam has a wife that he can take her hunting on Valentine's Day. She'll love it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I love it. I love it. That good for you, man. Dude, epic time all around. You shot an awesome ram.
Yeah.
You shot some
Beautiful
hogs.
ram.
We filmed it all. It's going to
Mhm.
be out on season 6 of Soul Seekers. It's going to be a great time. And at the same time, you get to go home with a bunch of memories and
Yeah.
tell all your buddies to be like, dude, you got to do it. You get to spread the gospel of hunting because it was that epic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to go back to what we were saying, like we always knock on all these folks spending all this money for all these different things. I was thinking about the sheep foundation, guys auctioning off sheep tags, the prices that they're going for. What Jana, she did her skull and some of those other hunts at what's the hunt expo?
The
Western,
Right.
Yeah,
Western
Mule
Hunt
Deer
for the Mule
Foundation.
Deer Foundation. Like we all knock on these guys for spending all this money. I can't believe they spend that money. We need that money.
Yeah.
We need that money in the hunting community, and it's high time we kind of start, taking care of some of these people that are doing that. Because if those high dollar guys that make that money and invest that money back into the community, if those guys go away, because guys, like me are sitting there bagging on them and for this, that, and the other reason, those dollars go away. Guess what? Some of my hunting land's going to go away, and some of my critters are going to go away, and
Yep.
now I'm left with nothing, all because I was sitting there,
bad mouthing
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perspective.
Yeah. So
Everyone has opinions. Very few people will go through
So I just wanted to go back to that and just,
yeah.
mention that, like, look, and I'm just as guilty as the next guy. Being like, hunting's getting so expensive. It's pricing guys like me out and this, that, and the other thing. But we need those dollars. And I tell you what else is you and the folks that take care of you and Soul Seekers and Hux Works and Onyx and Timney, Cryptech. I mean, Cryptech sent me a whole camo guard to come down here and film the show.
Yeah.
They sent that to Johnny to put on me, and I got some gear out of the deal. I got to have a wonderful experience, and all these companies that take care of you, that took care of me, made a trip like this manageable. Because I'm a school teacher. I don't make a whole lot, but make enough to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to be cautious of how we spend our dollars. And the fact that those companies were able to get behind you and support the podcast, support the show, all those things to bring a guy like me down here to have a once in a lifetime experience, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
We're having a gun safety moment right here. Cannon, come here. We're recording live. Cannon, you got to treat every gun like it's loaded. And so when you are pointing the muzzle of the gun at the dog or the house or different stuff, that's not good. You keep it pointed down at the ground and not towards anything that you're willing to destroy. Does that make sense?
Hey, you only point that thing at things you intend to shoot.
Do you understand?
Whether it's a BB gun or a 338. And this is a BB gun, just so.
Yeah, this is a backyard BB gun shooting at a pop can.
But whether it's a BB gun or a 338 or a 50 cal or a Super 6, we only point that thing at things we intend to shoot.
And then the other thing is you got to always know what's beyond. So
that's right.
If you're going to shoot and there's a house back there or a car back there, you don't want to shoot that direction. So you want to shoot in a direction where there's nothing in the back that could get damaged.
Except for the neighbor with the Kamala sticker, you can. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we don't have. Do we have those down here?
Not in Texas.
No. Anyways, brother, thanks for coming down. Thanks for being a part of the Soul Seekers. Soul Seekers Nation. It's a nation. It involves all of us. It includes all of us. Sam, you and I met this last 2 years ago.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, bringing you into the fold. It's the real deal, and it's addicting and it's contagious and. You gotta always spread the gospel hunting.
Well, I feel like this trip's a testament to that.
Think about how we brought this full circle, especially with you and I over the last 20-some years. Is, when we started dabbling together a little bit, with when you started hunting or wanting to shoot animals, and we shot your coyote, and we did some things together. And there's a lot of things that I don't have firsts of anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and that think about like your first kiss or the first time you shot your first buck or those exciting moments.
Mm-hmm.
That was this trip, because I've never done these things before.
Yeah.
So when we got on the pigs, I could feel the adrenaline of it,
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that was just like my first deer, and that was like my first kiss, and that was like those first, you know.
I did a podcast quite a while ago about when was the last time you did something for the first time.
Yep.
You and I actually.
Yeah, me and Johnny
that
did.
was last year. You and I talked about that.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
So you were able to bring it back. So like we started together, and I was the one that was able to show you some things. And now it's come full circle where you brought me down here, and you were able to show me all these things.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah. What's your take on? You said this was a real testimony to like the mentorship thing.
Yeah, I mean, he just explained it right there.
Yeah.
It's y'all have known each other for a long time, and we got to put this thing together, and with help of all the people that support Soul Seekers, and it can't thank them enough. I mean, it was a great trip for Jeff, and we enjoyed every bit of it.
Oh, it's a great time. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Soul Seekers podcast. Be blessed, freedom on. Know that life is happening for you, not to you. And also, always speak positively about hunting, regardless of what type of hunting it is. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are protecting it. We're the ones that are putting money into it. And we are the ones that are standing and holding the line. Jeff, thanks for coming down, brother. Really appreciate it. Sammy, love you. Thanks for coming down, being a part of this. Thanks for meeting my wife at Family Dollar so that you come out and meet me in the parking lot and keep the wheels turning. Guys, if you want to experience a Texas hunt, and whether it is a high fence or whatever, reach out. We probably can connect you with some different people, get you lined up for that. And man, go enjoy it. Go enjoy this life. Remember, life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. We're not playing victims here. And always, always advocate for hunting. If you like this episode, make sure to go share it, like it, subscribe it, leave a rating, review. All that helps continue to share the mission of mentorship as conservation. For Johnny Mack and Soul Seekers Nation, live from the back porch here in the great state of Texas. Freedom on, everybody. Stay soulful. If you enjoyed today's podcast and want to support the show, you can always like, share, subscribe, and leave a rating as it helps us share our mission of mentorship as conservation. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of Soul Seekers Nation as we transform lives through primal adventure.